What's up and welcome back. I'm John Stark from MacMovieGuy.com, your favorite blind film critic, and I'm here with The Mummy Returns. Said I was going to do this, so I'm doing it. I just reviewed The Mummy because of its 25th anniversary theatrical re-release and talked about that, and I mentioned that I would go ahead and just get the whole franchise up there, and it's on iTunes and it wasn't that expensive, so to get it with audio description. This has narration by Deluxe featuring Ron Snow as the narrator. Called the voice immediately. I heard the voice in the film and I was like, this is Ron Snow. Waited to the end, Ron Snow. I was like, yes, I'm getting really good at this. So click subscribe because who else is talking about audio description? No one. And some of my videos get so low on views. It's very depressing. I'm gonna keep doing it, but I'd like to be seen by more people. Yeah, so The Mummy Returns is it's a rushed sequel. It's a film that they pushed out really quickly, and they pushed out Scorpion King and everything about this franchise. They just kind of moved out as quickly as humanly possible. We've got Brendan Fraser's coming back along with Rachel Weisz. Arnold Vosloo, who played the Mummy in the first film, is back this time. So is Patricia Velasquez, who played his love interest, undead love interest. John Hannah's back, and there's a little kid here because why not? Brendan Fraser and Rachel Weisz had a little kid in the short window of time in between the first and second film, who's grown up to be, I don't know, like 7 or 8 here. And he's involved heavily in the plot of the film. So some people think it's, the failings of the film are because of him. It's not really. It's it's other stuff. Also, The Rock is in this. Dwayne Johnson. Sort of. I guess if you want to say he's in this, you can say he's in this. There's also some horrific looking thing. This is where the blind audience gets off easy, is because the audio description narrators, Ron Snow, can't just be like, oh my God. Oh my Jesus. What is that? What the... he can't actually do that during the audio description, so you would have no idea that this has notoriously some of the worst visual effects. in film history. There's a moment where Dwayne Johnson's face was, I don't know, superimposed, but it was like, at this point in time we had video game graphics that were better than this. This is one of those things where it's like, I feel like, I know everybody gave backlash to George Lucas when he did the Star Wars special editions, and he went through and he touched up. I fully support the Mummy Returns special edition if it means we like that face, that horrific looking CGI thing that comes out as when we see the Scorpion King. Just never happens again. If we could just get rid of it and redo it with 2024 graphics, I think just improve the thing. That, and I'd love for the plane crash at the end of Air Force One to not look like ass, because that's such a great film, but man, it's like the film is ruined by the last sequence, which just looks terrible. Anyway, this is it's the same story. Same mummies. They just added Dwayne Johnson in there as being like the potential savior of something, and there's more lore here. Oded Fair comes back to explain more stuff to Brendan Fraser, and then there's some stuff about whether or not they're I don't know, supposed to be doing this, like predestined, preordained throughout history, that they're representative of this stuff, and things happen to them, and people just come back. It's fine. It's just, it feels like we didn't need this. You know, there's a reason why Indiana Jones didn't, for the second movie, Raiders of the Lost Ark, just go try to raid the Lost Ark a second time. Um, and he kind of went in somewhere else and did something else. I feel like if Rick and had gone on to another mummy, like a different mummy, and just kept finding other mummies, that this franchise would have lasted longer. That's kind of what I think he does with Jet Li, is they find like another situation. And that's what they needed here. They didn't need to rehash the same thing. Actually, they probably just could have tackled just the Scorpion King and not tried to bring back the characters from the original Arnold Vosloo and Patricia Velasquez characters, um, and just gone with the characters that they have. Instead, for some reason, we're trying to extend that, and I don't really know why. And it kind of makes the film a little clunky, a little like they're double dipping into the thing. It doesn't quite work. It falls short. It's like it has a lot of that deja vu stuff, a lot of that. Um, well, we think this is how the first film was popular, so let's see if we can recreate that. And they did it so quickly. They got this out, within 2 years. A film with this much high special effects to get out that quickly is pretty amazing. Um, so yeah, it's not a film that I would jump up and down about, but it's okay. It just doesn't have that feeling of watching the first Mummy, where you're like, ooh, what is this? This is really special. Oh, it's a great mix of like horror and action, and oh, it's got that Indiana Jones vibe to it too. It's that sort of like swashbuckling hero thing that Brendan Fraser's got going on here. Here he's, I don't know, he's married, he's a little bit more annoying, and she's a little bit more annoying. It's like when you've won something before and you're like, I won, I already did this. Bye. It's just they just kind of have that air about them where they're like, yeah, didn't we already do this? I thought I already beat this guy once. Do we have to beat him again? Um, kid's fine. We need to not beat on child actors until they unless they're like really truly are the problem with the film. If you can find no other problem with the film except the child actor, then talk about that. But otherwise, he's not the problem with the film. I've heard people mention that over the years. I think this kid is fine. I think he's a solid actor. I enjoyed his performance. Whether or not there needs to be a kid in this is a completely different conversation. But yeah, that's it. Anyway, um, not as great of a sequel. Audio description wise, it does some stuff that I think people are going to be annoyed about because they don't like words that are up to a person's interpretation. I noticed it immediately and I cringed and I was like, oh God, somebody out there is gonna. So, when we've met her before because she was in the other film, but when you meet her in this film, again, Rachel Weisz, she's referred to as a beautiful brunette. And I know that beautiful is one of those words where it's like, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. So what, is she really beautiful? Would I find her beautiful? Or does the narrator find her beautiful? I get what you're trying to say. Listen, she's the female protagonist lead that is married to our male protagonist lead, and she's in a sequel. She's already been here. We already were introduced to her. It's Rachel Weisz, so she's done other things. You can kind of look her up and decide for yourself whether or not you think you would be attracted to Rachel Weisz. You can make up your own mind, but beautiful, just it's kind of the thing, the air. The film is trying to give her this air of beauty. Literally, a mummy came back from the dead and tried to marry her. So I mean, like the franchise, within the context of the franchise, she's beautiful because of the way that characters refer to her and deal with her. Um, So that's what I would say about that. Also, it's a second film. I don't even know that we really needed that. That's just there to be there. It's just extra stuff. But because again, you should see the first one, especially considering this one ties so heavily into the first one. If you're coming into the second film and you're like, wait a minute, these character descriptions aren't good enough. I don't know who these people are. I'm going to be like, that's your biggest problem. The film is directly referencing events from the first film that you didn't see, but your problem is that you don't know what these characters look like. Priorities. I mean, literally, the film picks up where the first film left off, with the same mummies coming back, and then trying to expand upon that. So you kind of have to have seen the first film for this one to make sense. I can't imagine. I'm not that person who jumps in on The Mummy Returns without having to see The Mummy, and then be like, "Ooh, I have no idea what's going on, but damn, wish I had better character descriptions." Um, yeah, it's just it's something that I heard, and I know that beautiful is not a word we should be using because of I get like the conceptually the argument behind it, but at the same time, it's a sequel. I didn't need that word at all. I didn't need a description for this character that could have just said who she was, because it's a sequel. That's where my head's at. So, um, yeah, you could if you want to watch The Mummy Returns, watch The Mummy Returns. If going to the theaters and getting to see The Mummy again on the big screen lit a fire in you and you want to finish out the franchise, Mummy Returns is an extension of that, and it's not a terrible sequel. It's just not quite as inventive as the first. It relies heavily on the first film, which kind of makes you wonder why. You know, maybe give a little bit more time and see if somebody could have come up with a better script, more original, less of a script that relies so heavily on the first. But I like the expansion of Oded Fehr's character here. I feel like he has more to do in the sequel, and thought he was a badass in the first film, and I like seeing him come back for the second film and have a role that's been expanded upon. So, and I guess The Rock's career had to start somewhere. So, there you go. Mummy Returns. And I do love Ron Snow's voice and narration on this. So really everything's just mostly positive for me on this. This is oddly a film, I've seen it before and I own it. I think I've maybe seen this twice. This might be my third time watching it. Um, yeah, it's not a film I rewatch a lot. I'm going to give The Mummy Returns a B. So thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. And I will see you guys on the other side.